Let me get this out there. Give me 1 second, my peeps. 1 second, my peeps. Give me 1 second. 1 second. Hello, hello. Okay. All right, so we're gonna go over we're gonna go over some charting things. We're gonna go over candles. We're gonna be going over patterns and stuff. And a little bit about spreads. I mean, it kind of ties all into it as well. Let's see. Holy moly, look at that. Market is bouncing here. So, yep, what up, what up? I see the chat is working, unlike the other day, so it's perfect. Okay, so first thing I want to go over, let's look at some daily candles that look absolutely phenomenal. Forget Microsoft right now, but this is the reason why we went long on Microsoft the other day. It was this candle right here, and then the infamous Friday where I sold for only like 150% on the options. So with this candle right here, first of all, we have, it is trending down, okay? Then we have a big candle, we have a wick, and you see an inside day in between that. We did not go under that previous day low. You can see we wicked above it, and it seems like we wanted to push higher. I got long on Microsoft when we got over these two previous highs here on the red candle and the inside day candle, and we had a massive move up from that 453 all the way to 471 that day. $18 move in one day just off that breakout here in the hold. Now this same inside candle, let's go to this chart because look at this. Okay, look at this same inside candle, downtrend right here, wick below the previous candle, didn't make a new low, inside, big breakout today. And look at the volume moving higher as well there. See the same thing on the Microsoft. I believe the volume went higher too. And you can see, look at that. So look at this day right here. Look at the volume on the next day. So I'm watching Oklo for continuation. I kind of missed it. Some people are still in the March calls that we had. And those could work out really nice. Well, I actually have a March call myself, but I didn't add to it. I should have added. So Oklo is one there. Another one that I wanted to bring up was silver. Yes, this is a crazy chart. I mean, you look at this and you go, I mean, just absolutely absurd. But let's talk about this specific candle. And this is the reason why I went long last night on the dip. So we have a red candle here. We have this candle here that wicked below, but we bullish engulfed and came all the way back up and closed higher. So I got long last night around 103 on the dip. It was around 105 overnight. And we got it around 103. We almost got to this wick today. We were just pennies away at 106.40. So we had a possible $3 gain there in just a day. And right now in after hours, you could see post market, we are over those all-time highs. Again, silver is a crazy chart right now, but bullish engulfings and those inside candles, especially in downtrends, could be nice reversal patterns for, in this case, longs. So we're going to be going, what up left? We're going to be going over candlesticks, which is something I love a lot. Let me get this pulled up. Give me a second. This is the favorite specific one that I like to look at. Let me change my screen a second. Okay, you may see that for 1 second. Everything all good? Yep. Okay. So let's kind of talk about what I was looking at there. And I have a great example of this bullish engulfing sandwich as well, which we did on ALAB. But something to kind of talk about here is that bullish Rami, which is this setup right here. That's what we're kind of talking about on those Microsoft and Oklo charts. So again, let's go back to Microsoft. Let's go down here. Look at the bullish Rami. Let's go to Oklo. Let's go down here. Let's go to the bullish Harami. And again, downtrend, inside candle right there. Boom. So next one I want to talk about, we just talked about silver, SLV, or the Silver Trust ETF. And you can see the bullish engulfing here. It engulfs this previous candle, not the wick, the actual candle itself, the opening and the closing, and looks to go higher. And as you can see, we obviously did that today as well. Now, obviously, you could see bullish reversal setups here, and bearish reversal setups could literally just be the total opposite. For hanging mans, we can go on NQ. Give me, not the right one. Hold on. Oh, forgive my lines. Forgive my lines. Hold on. Hold on. I gotta find. There was a hanging man that I played this week on NQ. Where the hell is it? I'm not gonna find this. Okay, we'll skip the hanging man right now. Let's go to ALAB and look at this bullish bullish sandwich. I know these names sound crazy, but hey, I didn't make them. So here is where we went long on ALAB, which turned out to be absolutely phenomenal. And you can see it's actually also bullish Rami in the same thing, but this 3 candle setup right here. Green, red, green. Okay. They couldn't really bring it lower. You see all these wicks, and you see the wicks are getting higher on those days. Then we have the bullish Rami as well. And we had a nice move from 158 all the way to a high of 190 in just under a week of trading. So beautiful move right there. Again, same type of setups. These are just specific candles that we recently traded on that I'm giving examples on. So that would be the bullish engulfing sandwich as well as that Harami kind of connected with it. I know there's, give me a second. I have to find this because I know one of my favorites is the hanging man, the shooting star, as well as the inverted hammer. I know we actually just saw the spinning top. Where the hell I just went? Well, this isn't a spinning top. I know we went short right here on this candle, which is crazy. But it's a doji reversal after a strong uptrend. You could see Friday the 23rd. I remember looking on smaller time frames, and this was also looking like it was slowing down. Okay, so the reason why I say that is look at this, okay? You see this setup right here. You see it coming down. You see it try to get back up, and we have a lower high. We can't get above. We start wicking. So you could even have a short right here. So here's where I'm specifically looking for trades. We've been doing a lot of call spreads lately. Today we actually did a put spread, but we've been doing a lot of call spreads lately because the market has been going up 0.5 to 1% almost day after day. And the market starts to get tired. Yes, you could see it bouncing off the 9, getting its usual moves that it should, its little dips. But after 3 to 4 times, it starts to get a little tired. It usually should see a pullback. In this case, we have basically a shooting star right here almost. It's a little bigger bodied one. But you can see that upper wick and that opening and closing right near the bottom. You can see it kind of pulls back in. And again, we get that bounce here, but we do not get above that high. So we have a lower high and we start to see weakness as we can't get above those wicks. And it starts to slowly just simmer away. So starting to see that price action is going to be key in finding specific trades to obviously engage on. I mean, I just took a trade on NQ, for example. So let me show you why I took a trade on NQ here. Okay. First off, obviously earnings, Microsoft, Meta, Tesla, the biggest ones right there. We ripped off of Meta and Tesla because they did really well. And Microsoft stock actually dropped, but the other two pushed the market up. Now you can see here just an indicator I have, which is a volume point of control where the most volume is traded, is this golden line right here. And look exactly where we dipped from 290 all the way to 160. So 130 point move in under 20 minutes here, because this is a 5-minute setup. And it went right into that 160 and bounced pretty strong there. So I took a long there at 166, just above that 160. Once I saw it starting to kind of bounce and hold there, and I got a nice move for about 40 points because I sold it right about over 200. Now, that we're here right now, let's actually talk about this candle setup. This is possibly a hanging man, a larger bodied hanging man. It could also just be. So when I talk about these setups, before I continue with this one, when I talk about these setups on this chart, on this exact candle pattern reference, when I talk about these setups, it's going to be one directional moves. So if I am looking at, and again, great examples are Microsoft and Oklo, and we'll just keep Microsoft here actually. So Microsoft obviously got its ass beat over the past couple of weeks, a couple of months, and then found that support on that bullish Rami and the support level. Now, with that said, when I'm looking for a bullish reversal, I want to see a true downtrend for that reversal, for that bounce. When I'm looking for a bearish candle setup, I am looking for a continued move up to short it down. So this is where exactly, I'm looking for one-sided directional moves where if we got a specific candle setup up here, I'd be like, damn, this looks like a great short. We just had from this wick all the way down here, we just had a 300-point bounce very quickly. I would look for the market to kind of pull in a little bit, get a little bit slower, possibly look for a candle setup on that and go short. Again, same type of setup where we were looking over the past few days and kind of doing call spreads and shorting the top is you start to see just the action slow down. And here's a great example. I know we talked about this one yesterday because we shorted the top just around here. Let's double check on exactly where I did this. And then I'll start looking at some questions too. On 127, which is yesterday, we got short at 1122. 1122 is right here on this candle. This is the 1121 to 1124 candle on a 3-minute chart. So we actually got short on this little hanging man right here. And here's why. So we started going up. We get our dips into the 9, dip into the 9, dip into the 9. That's already the third time there. We kind of dip into the 9 here. But once you're looking at this market moving up, you're starting to see it slow down. The highs are just smaller and smaller. Okay, we get a high, we get a dip. We get a high, we get a dip. We get a high a little bit higher, and you can start to see the upper wicks come in again. We get a dip right back into the 9. We get a little bit higher, and you can see the wicks just starting to come in again. It's not bigger highs. The candles aren't larger. and the candles are getting smaller and smaller. So it's like the buyers can't really push this up anymore, or the sellers are trying to just hold it down. We get that 3-minute hanging man, and we got short there at 11:22. We got 6:30 puts. So let's pull this up. Sorry, I know I keep switching. Sorry. So we got 6:30 puts right here. This was 631.75, and it didn't get to my 6:30, which doesn't matter because we still had a directional move in our favor to the downside here. And we were able to get, I got next day contract. So I got it at 216, and we were able to sell out at 230 for $15 a contract. And then we had set a stop at 238 on the remaining, which was above our previous trim. And we got stopped there going into the middle of this setup here. So again, nothing crazy on that trade. I did next day contracts. I personally like to do that. I don't like to do same days. It just, listen, I'd rather pay more premium and not get premium burned as much. And I made $20 a contract. That's good. That adds up. That's a base hit. You're making money on that. And again, perfect example, you just start to see the moves starting to slow down, not really getting crazy new highs, candles getting smaller, and you're starting to see wicks just going across those new highs. And it worked out perfectly for a short. And you can see example here, we talk about that hanging man. This is actually a perfect example of it. Here's a 3-minute hanging man. We, obviously wicked right here, candles came in for that dip. It just slowly got up to a new high and just couldn't really push anymore. So any questions on that? By the way, is my screen working? Because it doesn't show it on mine. And I hope it was working this whole time. Please let me know it was, because that would be pretty upsetting. I have to fix this. Why is this not working? Was the screen working? Were you able to see that screen? So let me know. Okay, perfect. Perfect. Does anyone have any questions on basically candlesticks, kind of reversal patterns, and just kind of seeing in this example perfectly, the market just slowing down and looking for a reversal off of that? Any questions on that? Please do let me know. Thank you guys for answering. I appreciate it. Yeah, because on my screen it showed it wasn't really popping up. It was just blank. So I was like, ooh, that's no bueno. That is no bueno. Okay. So if there's no questions on that, and if there is, I'll get back to them. We're going to go on to basically finding some support now. Hopefully we can find some of these. Well, we kind of did both sides in a way. In regards, I mean, this is just, I've been talking about this specific chart for probably 5, 6, 7 years now. This is something you 100% need to have by your side. I actually have this chart right under me. I would pull this thing up, but it's on my computer and other things. I could literally look down right here. I have all my cheat sheets of basically a big mouse pad, stock chart patterns, head and shoulder, bearish flags, all that stuff. I have candle setups right here, and I have wedges and all that stuff right here. If you are able to get one of these, I would highly suggest it because it really could make a difference in your trading. I know it sounds so stupid and so simple, but it is absolutely a game changer in knowing these chart patterns, these candle patterns specifically, because they could really give you a heads up on what could possibly be coming next. And I've been talking about this on the Wolf Spaces for literally years now. Okay, which are the most common candlestick patterns you see? Oh, I use. I would say the hanging man is one of them. I would say that bullish harami is another. Give me a second. Let me pull this up. And I'll get to your question in a second, Solo. Inverted hammer. Bullish spinning top, bearish spinning top, hanging man, shooting star. Obviously, both engulfings of the bullish and bearish engulfings, and bullish harami are some of my favorites. Those are the ones that you see a lot. Same thing with morning doji star and evening doji star, but you kind of connect it with a bearish and bullish spinning top. I mean, just in general, some of these candles could obviously just kind of combine in regards to looking like another thing. But again, you wait for that one directional move, the market start to slow down, and then start looking for these patterns. It could really give you a strong conviction area there. And I would say the example of a perfect chart like this, you see the market going up and you're like, wow, why would I want to short this? But you start to see weakness again. You start to see the market slowing down. The highs are getting smaller, and the candles are just getting smaller as well. You're not getting these big candles like this, big, big, big. Then you get this one right here to kind of push you up, but it's just slow, 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 small, small, and then it starts to just turn around here. Yep. Let me get that. Give me 1 second. Oh, hold up. Here is that candlestick pattern chart. There's that candlestick pattern chart. I just posted it in the link there. Which indicators do you have on this chart? So what I use specifically, I use a 9 EMA, a 21 EMA, and a 50 and 200 SMA. And then I have the volume profile, which is what we talked about here, where I went long on NQ at that 160. This right here. And you can see the volume on the right side here in that little shaded gray area. And you see we're kind of coming into a possible volume support here. But yeah, volume point of control and then a 9 and 21 EMA is what I focus on a lot on intraday trading, and then 50 SMA and 200 SMA because it could play a big part as well. Still, even on the intraday trading. Any questions on that? And for example, here's one thing to state here. We had FOMC today, so crazy day. Okay, let's talk about this. Okay. So this was our low of the day. Forget these candles right at the end of the day. Okay, forget these. These don't matter to me right now. Look at this right here. This was our low of the day. We had FOMC right here on this candle. I got into a put spread on this candle where we started to hold up. I was able to get 400 points out of the money and collect an easy $50 per contract. And it was just something that seemed so easy to me. Like, I was shocked that they were able to let us go $400 out of the money, which is almost a 1.5% move, and be able to collect that. We were wicking, and once we got this candle, I went into that put spread, and it was basically kind of just free sailing from there. Again, this wasn't even close to a 400 point drop. Didn't even know this happened, to be honest. Let's see what it did. Yeah, that didn't even really, well, I guess it did show up, but it was only 30 points here. So, I mean, yeah, it's just about, I don't see that FOMC chart. Oh, yep. I'm sorry. I'm stupid. Hold up. My fault. Okay. So forget what I was saying is forget these two candles. Here's FOMC at 2 p.m. Here's our actual low of the day. Again, forget these two. And you can see we're kind of holding up here. We obviously try to just chop around. Usually kind of what an FOMC day usually does. I got into the put spread around this candle right here. You can see we held. We didn't get below those lows. I was able to get 400 points out, and it just worked out perfectly. It just kind of drained for the last hour and a half, and that was it. And to be able to get 400 points out with under 2 hours left, I know obviously we had FOMC and that's a big thing, was astonishing. So I felt pretty good. That was a 97.6% probability of profit trade, and we just took it and went along with it. 200 SMA solo, not the 250. So the 50 SMA and the 200 SMA, but everything else there you have to correct. 9 EMA, 21 EMA, the 50 SMA, the 200 SMA, and the volume point of control. So volume point of control. The screen should be updating now, but why you asked why a spread and not a put or a call for a clean candle like that? Honestly, it just didn't. I mean, we were chopping. We still didn't even get out of our FOMC range really, other than this wick. So I was like, I should be able to collect a premium here. Again, getting a 97.6 probability of profit contract, over 400 points out of the money. So that would be a 1.5% plus move in under an hour and a half. And again, we weren't really moving. We just had a wick there. I was thinking, okay, they're probably going to try to hold this up. We have big earnings after hours, so I took that instead. I just didn't really see anything here. And I mean, just look at it. It just looks like a sloppy mess. Literally a sloppy mess. Nothing really happened. You have wicks up and down. Yeah, they try to get above a little bit, but nothing really came to, fruition there. What time frames do I use? That's a really good question. I use a 2, 3, 5, and 10 minute time frame when I'm intraday trading. A 2, 3, 5, and 10 minute time frame. And I cycle between those because you could start to see, sort of different things. You could see wicks on one, setup, and you could see like the price action kind of slowing down and possibly curling. Where in this example, again, let's go to this right here, yesterday. I mean, I don't know about you guys. The first thing I see here is this. And I literally drew this yesterday and sent this in the chat too. Do you not kind of see this a little bit? How it's like kind of curling. Again, you're not getting extreme highs. It's just kind of like turning around. I know obviously after the fact, you could draw this and be like, oh yeah, look, it started to curl. But can you not see how it's like just not really getting higher? We did this the same, I think the day before too. Yep, we did. I mean, look at this. Okay, this one you got to be able to see. This is pretty clear. Yeah, it didn't do anything really crazy afterwards, but look at this. You see the same type of setup there? This one is very simple. So on a 2 minute, on a 3 minute, this looked pretty clean and simple. We got call spreads on this day, which was Monday. We got call spreads yesterday on Tuesday, because you're not seeing a true, continuation higher. It's just a slow grind up. They just start to lose their buying power, or the shorts are trying to keep it down. So we took advantage of that and did call spreads. Did we get short on this day? I have a feeling we did. We did. Okay. So on 620, on 126 at 1217. Where is 1217? It would be right here on this candle. So we got short right here. And again, you start to see it's holding the 9, holding the 21, one bounce, 2 bounce, 3 bounce, 4 bounce. Basically 5th bounce right here. Again, slowing down. You could start to see the curling happening. You start to see the wicks coming in. We already had 2 wicks right here, and we just got barely a new high on this candle right here that I'm kind of covering, sorry. So I went short here, and you can see we kind of had a lower high here because we couldn't get above that previous high. So I got next day contracts again. I got 127 puts. So next date, 626 puts. And where were we on? I'm not even going to switch, but oops, I'm going through the wrong thing here. We entered those at 155. I got 9 contracts, and we had a total of 15 contracts there on that trade. I was able to trim it out at 112. So this took about an hour. Let's look at 112. So right here, I actually basically got a pretty decent sell at the bottom there. So at 112, we trimmed it out at 181, and that turned out to be a $26. Here, I'll pull this up so you guys can see this. Hold on. Okay, you should be able to see this. So we got the 626 puts for the next day at an entry of 155. We trimmed it at 181. We just set a stop at 165, and that was it. Again, perfect trade. Wasn't anything crazy. Market did not move that crazy. But we were able to basically get a nice short, get a nice little base hit. We also added that along with our call spreads, and it was just a beautiful day. Nothing to really worry about. You can see it's just a slow grind, and that's it. It's just finding what the price action is doing and utilizing that to your advantage. People go into trading and they just try to hammer trades, and they're going to get themselves killed. Again, listen, I did that. I lost money. I made money. I can tell you that being patient and sizing appropriately and waiting for these right setups is going to be key to your success. I know that sounds so simple. I know you probably hear that all the time, but it's literally, I can't explain it anything else. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've lost money for just doing stupid things and trying to get in and say, okay, someone talked about, why did I just take calls? Well, if I took calls, it could have worked, but I mean, you kind of got faked out on this one. Your premiums would be dropping because it just isn't moving in the next 25 minutes there before this candle. So it's just kind of rough. Being able to utilize strategies to your advantage, again, like credit spreads, is a big key of success here. Any questions on any of that? And as usual, I don't want to make these really long. I know no one wants to go back and look at a 1-hour video. So trying to keep it as short as possible, 30 to 40 minutes. Just be smart. How do you know when to trim to get out? So let's use that one for an example. Okay, so why did I know how to get out and trim here? Well, in reality, I saw an inverted candle right here, inverted hammer right here, and we started to kind of hold that. So I got out right at the basically opening of that next candle when we started to push a little bit higher. So I got out there, I trimmed it, and then I set a stop and profit. Obviously, my stop and profit got filled on one of these candles right here, and it just kind of went from there. So, it took an hour for that trade. We were chopping here. We did get a little lower low, but you could kind of see the same thing. We got in at the 12.16 right here. And you can see it's just slow. Like there's no momentum to it. So at some point I'm going to have to trim. I probably should have did it somewhere around here. Again, luckily in this case, I just got it here. We got an inverted hammer right here, and you can start to see that actual continuation afterwards. We had some wicks, started to see continuation afterwards, and I just got out. Do I post trades other than NDX and SPX? Yeah, 100%. We took longs on Microsoft. We talked about this in the beginning of the video. We took longs on Microsoft because it broke out on this, and this was that massive day. Oklo, same thing. We didn't take a long yesterday, but we are in a long currently. I posted about my silver trade last night. We took, here's one that I absolutely love, by the way. And I don't know how I haven't pulled this up yet. We took longs on TSM here from 333. Now, the reason for this is holding the 9 and 21. 9 is the pink. You can see we closed under it, but it wasn't that strong. And then we started to hold these. I got long TSM, really one of the nicest charts on the market right now. When we got it, and we have a nice 12-point move here, in just 2 to 3 days. Another great example of one is KTOS. We got long on this day. This was a nice one right here. So we have basically 3 days red, technically almost 4 because we opened lower. You can see we have basically a larger bodied spinning top right in between the 21 and the 9 EMA. We basically whipped right above the 21 EMA, and the next day we were able to close on this nice green candle right here. And you could have even got better today, but I did just close it here. It was just really a one-day swing for me. So yes, we do take trades other than just NDX, SPX, and stuff like that in QQQ. What was profit on the trade that you just talked about per contract? Can you share that? So you're talking about the QQQ trade? Yes, we got 161 average because we did average down a little bit. So profit at the highest was about $20 to $22 a contract. And then we got stopped out in profit for about $6 a contract. Now for the KTOS, we entered that for the swing. I'm not showing the screen right now, but we entered that for the swing at, where is that opening order? Where's my opening order on this? Okay, I don't know why I don't see this opening order. Did I put it in the wrong room? Well, anyway, we entered KTOS and we got $140 per contract in just 1 day on that. Do I use Flow? No, I don't use Flow. But one thing I do have, and I use a little bit, is Heat Seeker. Let's pull that up. And it basically just kind of gives you, levels to kind of look at and watch. But no, I'm not really a Flow guy. Just really hasn't worked for me, and I just kind of stick to what I know, price action, and using those candles to my advantage. Anyone have any more questions? Again, I don't want to make the video too long, especially if people are going to go back and look at it. Another thing I just want to really quickly hone into before I answer another question or two is, again, I love to use these dips into the 9 and 21. Again, KTOS is a great example of a trade we took. TSM is a great example of a trade we took right here. And then another one was MU, which I wish I held. Because look at this. I grabbed it on this candle right here, ran into the 9, and you can see this is a spinning top right here. But also, it could be a possible bullish abandoned baby. I know that name sounds crazy. Hold on. It could be a bullish abandoned baby where you get this gap down and continuation after. Gap down, spinning top, boom after. And I wish I held this because I did get February 20th calls, and it's up $110 since then. Yeah, that's a shame. That's a shame. But, these dips into the 9 EMA, I mean, SanDisk was another one. Actually, no, it was WDC was another one, sorry. WDC, we got onto the 21 EMA on a 2-day dip from 212 all the way to 180. And that is another one that I wish I held because guess what? It is up $110 as well. Since then, I also got 220 calls for that. And I sold it the next day when it was up $20. So yeah, pretty sucky. Pretty sucky. But yeah, any questions on any of that? No more questions. I'll basically kind of end it there. Again, I like to keep them 30, 45 minutes. So people go back, look at the recordings, and go from there. If you guys are ever interested in trading with us, you can check us out at bulltradefounder.net. If you're ever interested in copy trading with us, if you're ever interested in copy trading with us, you could check that out, and I could send that link as well. I mean, on a $5,000 account, we're up $3,787 in just under 3 months on a 76% return in that time on a 91% win rate. Again, this is all fully documented. So if you're ever interested in that, let me know. Do I use flow data? No, not really. Though I guess that's kind of the same thing. Vishal, I kind of answered that 5 minutes ago. Can you briefly discuss the copy trading? Yeah, so the copy trading is basically regarding just the credit spreads. That's all it goes over. That's all it does. It just copies my credit spreads. Basically, you can get however many units you want. If you want to just copy with a $5,000 account, you do that. It literally gets all my entries and exits. If you want to go all the way up, people have requested to go up to 10 units so far. So we added that. We've had many requests for that to go over because we initially only had 5 units, and people wanted, much higher. So if you guys are interested in that, it literally just copies my spread trades, entry and exit right into your account. It's very simple, very easy. You literally don't have to do anything. Copy trading is not for futures. It's for option spreads, credit spreads, option selling. Let me send that. I'll send that link in here. If you guys are interested in the copy trading, I just sent that up there. If you guys want to look at that, you can see everything there. We did have a loss in the past week, and it was on that Trump news, which is so upsetting. When the market ripped 400 points in under 15 minutes there. So it went higher than our stop loss, which kind of stinks. But otherwise, the losses are not that large. And that happens 1 to 2 times a year. 1 to 2 times a year. I've gotten hit on those before, but it happens. You move on, you push forward. Here, for example, is that scenario that I'm talking about. We had a call spread right around here somewhere. And you can see, obviously, we dropped over 250, 300 points. The issue was Trump came out right here and he talked about, I forgot even what it was. I think it was the Iran thing, that they're not going to war and stuff and all that stuff. And it ripped 200 points in a matter of 5 minutes. And within 5 to 10 minutes later, it was up 400 points. So yeah, that got us again. That happens 1 to 2 times every year. And you just move on. You learn from it. You grow from it. There's nothing you could really do. I do want to state I am going to maybe take a long here. I may stay on for another minute or two. I may take a long here and try this previous low of the day, and it looks like it's already trying to do it. Let's see. Maybe we could get a little futures trade in and see if it works. Yeah, for the copy trading, you just need so if you go on the site that I linked, you'll need a Tradier account. And give me a second. Yeah, the only one that they're allowed to do copy trading right now is Tradier. So once you open a Trader account, you'll earn $100 plus 3 months of Trader Pro for free. Once you deposit $5,000 or more. So you'll get $100 and you get 3 months of the Trader Pro for free, which is free commissions. And that's where, it kind of comes into play. So you'll need this brokerage, and then you just basically choose a plan depending on how many units you want. Some people have 50K accounts. That's why they want the 10 units now. And they have already asked for more, but we're just waiting for them to grow a little bit more before we do that. You have full control of everything. Again, you can manually override the buy. You could sell the position before I sell it. You could do anything you want. All it does is basically, it's like an API connection, and it basically, I'm not that good tech wise. I mean, Peakbot would have to really explain it better, but this is the best way I explained it. It basically just allows a connection from my account to go into your account. Depending on the size you click here, it'll buy a certain amount of contracts that I buy, and then it'll sell, the same thing when I sell. Yes, you need a separate account with at least 5,000 for the copy trading, correct? Yep, they basically wicked it right at that low of the day that I was talking about, and it's up 20 points from there. So I missed my long. But if we get back up here and we reject at that 163, you can go for a short. Oh my God, look at gold. Look at gold. Jesus. Where's silver? Look at silver. Ridiculous. Actually ridiculous. Yeah, other than that, if no one has any questions, you could always feel free to contact me on Discord and DMs, or just in BTF. You can always contact me on X. Other than that, I hope everyone has a great night, and I will catch you guys tomorrow. Have a good one.